Hi, it's David Lee. I'm here in London with Rick Otten. How are you doing, Rick?
David, I'm doing very, very well.
We're going to have to speak up close. We're outside.
Okay.
Now, Rick, while you're in London, there's some people that won't know you. Can you please just introduce yourself very briefly to people of the United Kingdom?
Well, my background's the property guy. You might have seen those We Buy Houses signs around the place. I've been buying property for about 24 years, and I started in Dallas, Texas, and I started buying houses, David, without getting bank loans and without using a lot of cash and using up my own finance, and creating systems where we could build a property portfolio without tying ourselves up with a whole bunch of debt and using a whole lot of cash.
And one thing I could also add to that, Rick, is the way you do it, you're allowing people the opportunity, and you're looking for opportunity when you started this business, to create a business, and that was giving people the opportunity of home ownership that they couldn't otherwise get.
Well, the power of that, David, was if you want to automate the property business, no one wants to actually be in the property business.
Yeah.
They want to be in the benefit of the property business. So therefore, if we go one step further and figure out what buyers and sellers want, which brings really a solution to a problem, and then be in the solution problem business, not the property business, and you can automate it, because most people, all you have to do is give them the direction to where they want to go to get into a house, and assist the people to get out of a house that no longer want to be in it. Now, if you can do that and give the guidance around that, David, everybody does it for themselves, and you don't really have to be involved. You can just get the benefits to the property without getting stuck in it.
And what you said, Rick, was you were solving a problem.
Yeah.
Now, before you came to the United Kingdom, which was about 12 years ago, 2002, everybody was doing it the same old way, bank finance or pay outright with cash. And you asked me, David, what's this chain system? Because you couldn't understand it, and you were looking at it completely different.
But David, people don't realise the system here is 1677 it was created, 1677 under King Charles II. Now that's a 400-year-old system. So to walk in and go, why are we doing it that way, why are we doing it that way, it's not the most efficient way, it's just been carried on for over 400 years. And I think one of the things I've done all my life is said to people, why do we do it that way? And people quite often can't tell you. They just tell you, well, that's how it's always been done. So sometimes the madness is no one stops long enough to ask why it is they're doing anything. They just keep doing it.
Okay, my observations, and maybe your observations this time in the United Kingdom, that people are running around, they're busier than ever, and they don't have time to stop and say, why am I doing what I'm doing today? Now, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, Rick, what opportunities, or let's start off, how do you see the marketplace today, and what opportunities can you see?
Well, right around the world right now today, David, we're seeing this massive, what I think is inflating bubble built out of credit. Okay, the banks have poured so much money into the economy since 2008. All the markets around the world are just pumped up, and everybody's jumping on. And you know, when everybody jumps on, eventually everybody has to jump off. So I just think we're all waiting for something to happen. You know, in the United States, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Britain, everybody knows the gravy train's going to stop. Everybody's just waiting for something to happen. The thing is, if we all know it's going to happen, but we don't know when, you kind of want to be ready for it, do you know what I mean? And not something when it happens you go, surprise, surprise, surprise. So you want to be ready what's happening. I remember in my own country we have this mining boom, right? And everybody's buying houses into a mining town, making these prices in the middle of the desert be worth a fortune, all relying on China. It was only a question of time until they decided not to buy our stuff. And all those house prices were going to collapse again. So to me, it's all about knowing what's going to happen down the road and get ready for it, and put yourself in a position, David, where regardless of what happens down the road, you don't care. You don't get affected by it.
So people, I don't know, they're so busy, but you can't look to the past. Everybody keeps looking to the past, or looking to the government, or looking for somebody to save them. I think it's a time where you've got to start looking yourself, researching, and finding answers to what you've got to do next.
You can't be one of those, I wish I had guys, right? You've got to be a glad I did guy, right? Because all people go, oh, well, I wish I had. We can't do that. You can't look at the past. You can't look. If I think about all the transactions I did do, or I could have done smarter or better, and I had to thought about that, I had to bow my head on the table and fold my arms. But you can't. All you can do is take on board what you learn, move forward.
Well, one of the things that happens to people, and we've only got a few minutes, is we all try to look at everybody else and be like everybody else, and I think you're the last person to try to copy anybody with what you do.
Most people are just following the 95%. Now, here's the craziness of the whole thing, right? All the statistics have said for years and years and years, 95% get nowhere and the 5% do. Here's the crazy part about it. Everybody finds the 95%.
Yes.
Now, it seems to me, I'm not an economist, but if the 95% are going up the cliff and going nowhere, why would I follow the 95%? I'll just sort of go the other 5%, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what happens is we get buried amongst the 95% and we feel as though we can't jump out. And guess what? If we're in business, we're looking for opportunities. You've done it, Rick. I've done it as well. We have to stand out. We have to do things that people are going to question at the time.
You have to be different for people to notice. See, here's the thing. Most people try to do what other people are doing because they think that's the way to go. That's called vanilla. No one notices. You've got to do something different for people to notice. I mean, it was like when I introduced those yellow signs and black ones that say "We Buy Houses," those ugly signs all over the place. Can I just tell you, when I introduced those in September 2009, man, wow, was that controversial? I mean, it still probably is.
It probably still
but
is. People
notice it.
Yeah.
It sticks out from the norm, from the old.
So what I wanted to do here, this is a little group that we've got, business people, stimulating ideas, get you to interact with people, because you've got to ask yourself the question, who are you hanging around with?
Yeah.
I hang around with this guy, I hang around with a lot of people.
Don't do what the other people are doing, they're going nowhere.
Okay then, this is David Lee. I think my hair needs... There we go. I'll say goodbye. Thanks very much for joining us. And this was Rick Ottenwald. He's here in the UK. Thanks a lot for joining me, Rick.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.